For the most part, I believe I was a normal child. I've never done anything super crazy that would have involved the cops, firefighters, or the FBI, but there were definitely some moments that I look back to and I'm like, oh boy, what happened here? There was this one time, for example, when I just brought the remote control to school for no reason. We were watching some kids show in the morning, probably Thomas the Train, with my sister. And I guess I just didn't want anyone to change channels, so I made sure that even after we left, still no one was able to change channels or even turn off the TV. Then there was this other time when I was wondering what it would feel like to touch fire. Well, you can imagine how that went. Ooh, fire. Probably not the smartest decision I've made in my life. I can almost imagine the disappointed faces of my ancestors from thousands of years ago be like, dude, we have already tried this, come on. One of the most malicious things I've done as a child is harassing others with dominoes in kindergarten. You remember those compulsory nap times that as an adult we wish we had? Well, I was the one kid that could never fall asleep and I was often bored, so I had to find a form of entertainment. Phones weren't really a thing back then, so I just found a bunch of dominoes and I thought I would just play quietly, but for some reason I changed my mind and convinced myself it would be way funnier if I just started blasting the other kids with dominoes. Which turned out to be true, it was actually way funnier. I remember this kid called Tony, who would get always so upset because I kept waking him up and he just never knew what was going on. I was like the guy in that shampoo prank video, I kept doing the same thing over and over, but people could just not figure out who is this evil being hiding in the shadows, or in this case under the blanket. I was such a menace. You know what the funniest thing is? I actually never got caught. I remember that our caretakers were discussing this domino incident once or twice with their simultaneously worried but laughing faces, but after a while I guess they just accepted that this was a thing. Okay, what else did I do as a child? Oh yeah, I've got one more. This one is probably the funniest thing I did as a child. So when I was younger, we lived in this big house that was separated to like 5 segments. And in those segments, other people lived, so we had a bunch of neighbors and a shared garden, so it was fairly easy to move from house to house. So one day, little me decided that I should start exploring my territory. I was like 4 or 5. So I just went to a neighbor's house and started inspecting everything basically. Fortunately, no one was at home yet. Somehow I made it in, don't know how. So while I was meticulously inspecting everything like some kind of detective, I had a sudden urge to poop. The guy below was already knocking, signing it's time to do the thing, so I just looked for a toilet and did the thing. And as I finished, I just walked out and left and acted as if nothing would have happened. However, in that house lived a mom and 2 sons, and somehow it became a matter of argument that someone didn't really flush the toilet. Yes, well, apparently I forgot to get rid of the evidence, so somehow all the traces pointed at me and yeah, I got caught. I wasn't punished or anything because as a parent it's really hard to even explain without laughing that you should flush the toilet if you take a poop at a neighbor's house for no reason, so yeah, that's about it. There was some other stuff I did as well, but these were in my opinion the funniest ones. I'm actually surprised that I remember these because usually I can't even remember what I did a week ago, let alone 10 plus years ago. So I guess my brain thinks that I should absolutely remember these because there is a lesson in all of them, especially the last one.